So does anyone remember the last time I did resin project?
So I opened up this part and we're basically just going to be checking out, and it's basically still sticky. As you guys can see there, I was not impressed.
Don't do it.
Well, now, a couple months later, I have perfected the skill. I think I perfected the skill with some clear resin. Look at the clear resin here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the one that I made here. The first successful one was the whale one, in which you had the light and such. Basically, that was the most coolest one that I ever made so far. And then we had the shark one as well with the boat. I wanted to make it like a a night lamp kind of a thing, but that kind of turned into failure along with the bubbles. I'll explain more of that later with the bubbles and such. And with the latest project I done, I made a fountain out of that basically, which is really cool. Made like a plesiosaurus was ice and trapped inside of this iceberg is melting basically. So I kind of want to do that, and I think it was a great success. Yeah, I mean, with everything, I think that was a successful project basically. All these three are pretty good. I would say just like the three items are just bubbling up, but the most main thing is that I wanted to make the resins what's it called, like clear, like kind of like derive the bubbles, which I progressively have done better over time basically. And also with the outside, try to make it more like non-blurry, because if you guys have done resin project, you guys know that sometimes when you try to mold it outside, when you try to like get rid of the mold, sometimes you see some blurry spots basically. You can't wash out with water, you can't sand it off like just that simple, but you can sand it. Like, oh well, you have to sand it, that's one thing for sure, but it goes with a lot of steps afterwards, like a lot. Like basically it's a huge ass process. Now that I come to think about it, when you look up on YouTube and such, and you try to scroll around, and I tried this myself, trying to search around YouTube, try to get the best tips and tricks on how to like successfully do your resin. So there are some that have those like key like tips and tricks on how to like make your resin successful, but the only problem is like they're in these big ass videos and you have to like literally wait until they get to it basically. And the other stuff is like, oh yeah, it's like, self-explanatory, but like honestly, like you can't find the how to do resin. Like if you go here, how to do resin in home, or yeah, like resin basically, like there's a lot of there's some that's like okay, like depending on what you want. If you want to do smaller projects, big ass projects, like like you won't be able to do that a lot basically. It's you have to like see like which one is your type, like small projects, table projects. I mean, there's some things like the small details, like some of them are pretty fast, like 5-minute videos like this one. This is great. I think I watched that one just to see like, okay, so you can't really like smell this in or breathe it in, so that's lovely. I like that. Tips to avoid, but those are like 14 more than 10 minutes on. And some of the like the resin projects in which you can see the dioramas happening basically, you see it, like you can see the steps happening, but they leave out the key stuff of how they make it like resin clear already. Bubbles in resin is like one of the biggest problems when it comes to resin. They don't show it how to make it clear. They just show the mixing and then woo, pour, but they have no idea the little ass process that gets into it. One process that has helped me was basically with like just making the resin bubbles go away is with heat, specifically hot water. So basically the reason why that happens is, I guess it just quickens the process, I suppose. I know some channels, some videos have like had it, but basically they don't really show like enough of okay, like you can't really just like leave it there, because of the heat process. The hotter the process is, the faster the resin cures. So you gotta like honestly work fast. You can't just stand there and just expect the resin to be bubbling up. It will just cure and then the bubbles will still be there. You gotta like mix it up as well basically. Stir up all the bubbles as well, along with the hot water, along with the hot water around it, so bubbles in the resin can just go up easily. It's that simple. And yet videos like don't really show it too well. I'll just show it to you guys like right now basically. I'll just basically show it to you guys like soon. I'll basically just show you to you guys like right now basically. So the first thing is, like you get your 50-50 ratio, like depending on resin. First thing is to like your resin, just look at what you need. Like, do you need more of like epoxy resin than the hardener? Usually I just go a little bit more of resin epoxy than with hardener, so that the hardener doesn't really like overflow and that doesn't get sticky in general. Once that happens, you basically put these two resins separately into the hot water for keep it about 2 minutes or so. Once you get that done, you basically put into one big bucket or big bowl or whatever, big cup or whatever. Pour them both together, not really together. Do the epoxy first, very slowly, because if you want to prevent any bubbles from happening. And then after that, you do it slowly with the hardener as well, basically. Once you get that done, the tip that I have usually one for when it comes to pouring these guys is pour on the side. Don't pour like just immediately on the top into the middle. Just pour it on the side so that it can just slide down peacefully, basically. So once that happens, you want to basically be able to just mix it all together. Mix it all together in the hot water that you have remaining left, because you know hot water doesn't really last long depending on what you use. Like, you know, if you use just I don't think you should really use a stove, but don't use a stove. So basically mix for about a couple minutes or so. Don't mix for way too long, because I done that once before, and basically what happens was it cured in that process, so I couldn't really use it, so it was kind of bad. So mix, don't do it so fast, do it very slowly. Get all the bubbles out as much as possible. You don't have to get all the bubbles out, because that's gonna be the next process. Once you get that done, basically get your coloring, you mix that up together basically, and you mix it up for about 1 more minute, and then you pour into the mold that you have. Usually I prefer more plastic molds, but today we're just gonna be using a cup, I suppose, because you know, this is just like a regular demonstration. Once that happens, you want to basically just look at all the bubbles that are like going up to the surface, and then you want to just basically blow torch the crap out of it. Not too much, because you don't want to melt the cup around it. You don't know how much the cup can resist the heat from your blowtorch or from your hair dryer. Usually some people use hair dryers to you know, pop the bubbles usually faster, but I usually use a blowtorch because it usually is pretty good and efficient. You know, heats up the bubbles and then pop. So once that happens, you do that until you see a little bit of smoke coming out from the epoxy resin. That's when you know it's curing, and that's when you know you should have a mask on at all times, like me basically. But not the one that I have. You use one that's more efficient. I just use this one because I don't really have anything else basically. So once that happens, you have to basically just wait until like the next day. Like 24 hours is usually how I leave it, no matter what size it is, because it gives it more time to cure. Once it's done, basically, yeah, there you go. There is your clear epoxy resin, basically. So I'm basically going to be doing more of these tips like soon, basically, because I do want to make more of these like projects. I'll probably be doing some more tips and tricks for resin, and like just strategies on like how to be able to like officially be able to like, you know, not waste your money with epoxy, because I made a mistake with the first project and that was terrible. And I want you guys to make I want you guys to not make the same mistakes as I have. Like, please do not. If you guys like more of this content, make sure you guys comment down below. If you guys like more of this content, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below of what other epoxy projects I should be doing. You can just tell me like whatever, basically. Like, be imaginative in this kind of stuff, because I think I can be able to do it, but not the big ones. Maybe something smaller, because I do have a 3D printer as well, so you 3D print some stuff, and then I can just make what I want. I might want to sell these, honestly, because they do seem pretty cool, and I do want to sell these guys to you. You know, puts in pride within my work. So if you guys want something of your own, you know, let me know. You know, I might make a website out of this. I'll have to see, but we'll have to see if you know, if you guys are interested. But I'll definitely make a website nonetheless. Also, I'll be streaming on Twitch this week, basically, so make sure you guys look at the schedule on Discord. I'll leave Discord link below as well, so if you guys are interested, make sure you guys look at the description. Yeah, the reason why I didn't have a video from last week is because of like I did have COVID, so I was trying to recover. I'm not sure if I still have it. No, I don't think I tested negative today, so there's that. So yeah, basically I think I should be better now. We'll have to see how things go with work, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good day.